today's yoga class doesn't have any real theme. It's just going to be yoga with Cody, my assistant there on the couch, and yoga with the parakeets who are chirping up a storm right now, so hopefully you can hear me. This one, I guess there's a bit of a loose theme. Some hip opening, some leg strengthening, and a little bit of twisting. Alright, so we'll start seated. I'm going to move back on my mat so you can see me a little better, but start seated in butterfly pose. Bring the soles of your feet to touch, balls of the feet, heels, big toes. Grab your feet with your hands, press your elbows down into your shins and into your thighs. Resist with your legs. Breathe and just push down. Slowly open your hips. Settle in. There, it might be Spock. He's the little yellow bird, or it could be Biggie. Who's the yellow-white bird. Down into the hips. You can resist the outside of your feet against the floor as well. Find a little more length as you push down, really sort of opening your interior hip girdle. Move back to your child's pose. Stay in it too, the more I'm able to bring my heels closer to my groin and just slowly opening up. Your mat, and we'll push back to the child's pose. So ground down to your hands, hands are shoulder width. Feet are together behind you like your butterfly pose, only this time you're facing the floor. And then just push down into your hips, push back through your hands, root into the floor. Lock them out, push down through your index finger and thumb. Find expression through your hands, breathe. Ears, I noticed mine were up pretty high that time. I'm going to walk my right hand and then my left hand up to the right side of my mat and find a side stretch, pushing back and finding a lot of length in my left lat. And then following and turn on the right side. Bring yourself back to center, back to child's pose. Walk your hands off the left side of your mat. Find length through that right side and stretch that left arm long too, don't forget about it. Center, the child's pose. My shoulders are very sore today. I was at the gym for a long time yesterday, avoiding all life responsibility, including parenting and work. But it left me feeling very sore. So I'm going to take my right arm up to the sky and then thread it under your left armpit. Drop your right cheek and ear to the mat. Push against the outside of the right hand. Push down through that left hand to push back. And push back into a revolved child's pose, but with your right arm threading the needle under your left. Side of that right shoulder. And just let your head be heavy on the mat. child's pose. We'll take this on the left side, left arm to the sky. Thread the needle, looking under your right armpit. Drop your left cheek to the mat. Push against the outside of the left hand. Ground down through that right palm. And push back into child's pose. Return to center. We'll take a quick shoulder stretch. I'm going to come off my mat just a little bit for this since I'm jammed up against that couch. But lie down prone on your belly. Arms outstretched to a T. Ground down to that right palm. Bring your left arm in close to you. Arm bent at 90 degrees. Push and then rotate. I guess it's to my right. Pushing off that left hand. Drop your head to the mat. And you'll feel a lot of stretch to the outside of your right arm, to your biceps, to your shoulder. My biceps are really, really sore right now, so I need this pretty badly. So be dropping your left leg behind you, rooting out on the floor. We'll take that on the other side. Left arm outstretched. Right arm at 90 degrees. Press that left palm flat to the floor. Rotate to your left. Drop the right heel behind you. And then push against the floor. Find a lot of stretch in your left bicep. Return to the mat. One more thing we will do to open the hips is frog pose. So basically you're going to come to tabletop, but with your knees wide, almost off the mat or off the mat. And then you're going to push back, just like you're pushing back into child's pose, but your hips are a lot wider now. So the goal here is to really open your hips. Push back into it slowly, because we're not that warmed up yet. You don't want to tweak anything. You don't need to be that aggressive. As you push back into the hips, you can lower yourself to the floor and push through your forearms. And drop your head to the floor if you want, and then just breathe into it. With each breath, try to go a little deeper into the pose. We're going to be very gradual and intentional about it. And then we'll come out. Chirping and singing, creating a huge racket, and then they'll just sort of randomly stop and then start again. I'm not sure what it is. I'd love to know what they're saying to each other. Come to tabletop on your mat. Rooting down through the hands, getting ready for some vinyasa a little bit later. So you're rooting down through the index finger and through the thumb. Index fingers are pointed forward, elbows to the eyes, rotated forward. Get your shoulders out of your ears, bring them down on your back. Reach down to your knees, through the tops of your feet, and just breathe here for a little bit. Sort of feel the floor underneath your limbs. Taking some cat-cows. So staying in this tabletop position, drop the belly, lift the head, inhale, cow, exhale into cat. We'll go through this about 5 or 10 times. You can move at your own pace, just moving with your breath, doing what feels good for your body. So, pushing up, stretching the spine and the upper back. Inhale on the cow, keep going. Return to tabletop. We're going to take sunbird pose. Stretch your right arm long in front of you, keeping the shoulder anchored back in the socket. Now lift your left leg behind you. Find a long plane of length from the tips of your right fingers all the way back to the tips of your left toes. Activate your core. Don't sag. Don't bow up. Just try to stay nice and flat. Reach and extend and breathe. To the mat, we'll take that on the other side. Right leg is back, left arm is forward. Find length between the opposing limbs. Breathe, push down through the floor with that right hand. Come back in the sunbird with that right arm forward, left arm back. Now bring your elbow to your knee, maintaining activation through the core and strengthen the pose. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. We'll do 5 of these. Stretch out, return your limbs to the mat. We'll take that on the other side. Left arm forward, right leg back. Exhale, elbow to knee. Turn to the mat. Nope. Do what I want to do. So just step to the top of the mat. Inhale your arms to the sky. Stretch long. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back to plank pose. First one of the day. Might feel a little strong at this point. You've got this. Grounding down through the inner triangle, same as before. Let's hold this for a few breaths. Activate through the core, activate through the legs, push off the floor. Look, I don't know what that was about. Look forward. Use the mat, makes it a little easier. Exhale, halfway. Flip over the toes. Upward facing dog. Push back into downward facing dog. Since this is the first one of the day, and I'm feeling pretty tight, and you might be as well, you can walk your dog, dropping one heel to the mat and then the other.
your hips high to the sky. Stay active through the toes. Breathe. Find opening in your hips, opening in your feet. Pushing down through that thumb and that index finger. Rotating the elbows forward. Let's do this. Rotate your heels to the right. Facing dog. Now drop them to the left and breathe. Step or hop to the top of your mat. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhale up.
Inhale up, upward salute. Exhale, forward fold.
Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. Lower halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. I'm going to relocate my mat a little bit. Okay, still a downward dog. Move your left foot to the center of your mat. Lift your right leg behind you, and then open your hip. Rotating your right heel down and to the left. Keep pressing through your hands. Keep finding length through that left leg. Breathe. Take that on the other side. Left leg's up. Right foot's anchored in the center of your mat. Drop that left leg behind you. Rotate the hip open. Breathe. You can look under your armpit. Push back, grounding through the floor, step or hop, top of the mat. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold.
Facing salute. Exhale, hands to heart center. Exhale, forward fold.
Halfway lift. Step or hop back, plank. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take those hip openers, but flip them over into wild thing. So left foot to the center of the mat. Right foot up behind you. Rotate the hip open. Then slowly drop the right toes to the floor. Activate through the blade of the left foot. Push off those right toes, arm overhead, and then thrust your pelvis towards the ceiling. Breathe. Back over, coming back into downward facing dog. We'll take that on the other side. Right foot to the center of the mat. Lift the left leg, open the hip, drop the left toes behind you. I just ran into the couch. I'm going to come off my mat a little bit. Reach and breathe. Coming down through the floor, left arms overhead, shoulders out of your ear. Downward facing dog. Up the mat. Halfway lift. Inhale, forward fold. Sky.
hands to heart center. Inhale up.
Halfway lift. Step or hop back plank. Chaturanga Dandasana. Lower halfway. Flip over the toes, upward facing dog. Push back into downward facing dog. To the center of the mat. Right leg, three-legged dog. Step forward. Note your hands framing your front right foot. Left foot's facing forward as well.
Bring your arms up overhead into high crescent. We'll hold this for about 10 breaths. Keep your shoulders out of your ears. Stay active through that back leg. Front right leg is at a 90-degree bend. You don't want your knee drifting past your ankle. And you want knee to ankle alignment so that you're in a straight line. Breathe. More breaths here.
Step back plank. Lower chaturanga. Inhale up dog. Exhale downward facing dog. Left leg up, three-legged dog. Step forward, we'll take high crescent on the left side.
Grounding down through that front left foot. Left knee at 90 degrees. Push off that back leg, stay active. Breathe. Keep your gaze forward.
Step back, plank, lower halfway, flip over the toes, up dog, push back into downward facing dog. Step forward, come up to your high crescent again with the right leg forward.
Exhale your hands to heart center. We're going to twist. Bring your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. We'll just sandwich the palms together today. Using the opposing action of those palms, push and twist. Lock your knee against your elbow. Rotate your torso to the right. Back leg too. Don't let it drift like I just was. And through the hips. Chaturanga. Inhale up dog. Exhale downward facing dog. Left leg up. High crescent on the left side. Left leg forward. Exhale your hands to heart center.
Then rotate and bring the right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Palms together, push. Keep the shoulders out of the ears. Breathe. With each breath, see if you can drive a little deeper to the pose. Back leg, ground through that front foot. Hands to the mat. Step back plank. Lower chaturanga. And up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Your mat. You're going to land with your feet together, heels slightly apart. Keep your knees bent. Bring your arms up overhead into chair pose. Don't let your knees drift over your toes. Kind of want to keep them about, halfway between your toes and your ankles. Sit down into the pose. Activate through the quads, activate through the glutes, activate through the core. You can rotate your pelvis down and forward, which helps fire up your core. We're going to hold this for a little bit. 5 more breaths here. Center, we're going to revolve this. Take your left elbow to the right side of your right knee. Twist. Almost a drift. The left leg will tend to want to drift out, but pin it back. Alright. Standing down to that left foot, lift the right leg. No, I'm sorry. Standing down in your right foot, lift your left leg, step it back, revolve crescent. Step your back leg forward, revolve chair. Just one breath here. Come back up to chair. Hands up. Exhale them to heart center. Right elbow outside of the left knee. Rotate and breathe. Don't let that right leg drift forward. Stepping down into that left foot, step your right leg back. Rotated crescent, we've been here before, should be familiar. Push down, active through that back leg. Chair, one breath here. Bring your hands to the sky chair pose. Hold this for 5 more breaths. to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk your heels down like we did at the start of the class. You should be a little warmer, a lot more limber now, but this will help you re-limber up. Behind you, three-legged dog. Step forward. This time we're coming up into warrior two. So you want your front heel in line with your back arch. Feet are about 4 feet apart. Come up. It's an open hip pose, so your hips are open to the left side of your mat. Settle down into that right front foot, 90-degree angle. Stay active through the back leg, grounding down through the outside of the back foot. I don't really like to look forward. I have weird neck issues from sleeping weird. I'm just going to look at the side of the room. Staying upright through the torso, long and strong through the hands. Think about your hands are on the same plane as if you're pushing down on a plank or a table or something like that. You want to keep them the same height. I don't even know if mine are. That's my goal. I can't really see my own hands. My arms are crooked. I'm old. I rock climb too much. Do what you can. Rest here. Talker in the flock. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Left hand down the back of your left leg. Exhale your hands to the mat. Step back plank. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. Right foot to the center of the mat. Left foot forward. I'm going to take warrior two on the left side. Same cues as before. Come up. Settle in. This is a long hold. Back foot. Right now it's a very nice afternoon here in Colorado. We got a little bit of snow. Also very, very cold. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back, plank. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Left foot center of the mat, right foot behind you. Step forward with that right foot. Come up, warrior two. Left hand down the back leg. Then come forward into side angle pose. Take that right elbow against the inside of the right knee. Left arm could go to we'll go to the sky today with the left arm. And then find rotation, grounding down through your feet is your anchor. Find rotation up towards that left hand. Block two, bring it to the inside of your foot. I'm going to actually, I feel like I need it today. Arms are in a nice long line. Reverse your warrior.
I'm going to take half moon on the right side. So bring that left foot in a little closer towards your right foot. Spring off that right foot.
Bring your right hand to the mat. Stand down strong into that right foot. Left arm to the sky, and then rotate your left hip open. Breathe. Step back.
Reverse warrior. Hands to the mat.
Bring your left hand to the center of the mat. Rotate onto the outside of your left foot. Right arm to the sky, side plank. On this left side. If you want, you can lift your right leg into the air, 1 or 2 feet off the ground. Drive down through that left hand. Really activate. Kick your hips up. And stretch that right arm to the sky. Breathe. From the plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. Left foot steps through, come up into warrior 2 on the left side. On this left side now, I'm going to return to the block, putting it inside my foot today. Left hand pushing off the block, right arm to the sky, twist open to, well, towards your right hand. I mean, I guess you're twisting towards the left side of the mat. Finding length through that right side body, driving down through the feet. Your warrior. And then we're setting up for half moon on this left side, so bring that right foot closer to the left foot. Spring off that left foot, bring the left hand to the mat. Pushing off the mat, you can use a block if you want. Right arm to the sky, rotate that right hip open, karate kick backwards with that right foot. Breathe. Hands to the mat, right hand to the center of the mat, come back onto the outside of that right foot, get that right hand under you, left arm to the sky, side plank on this other side. If you want, lift that left leg. Strength between your right hand and your left fingers. Balance and on strength. Also side opening to a degree. Bring your left hand to the mat. Plank. Chaturanga. Up dog. Push back. Downward facing dog. Let's play with a little bit of crow. So keeping your hands grounded down to the mat, and those downward dog hands, walk your feet forward, and you're going to walk your shins up on the backs of your triceps, grounding down through the hands, tip forward, push off the floor, and then bring your feet off the ground. Bring your feet to touch behind you. Like we were in butterfly pose, but if you want, you can try to bring your feet flat together like in butterfly. If not, you can keep the blades of your feet touching. Either way. Find length and strength with those grounded hands. Pushing up, use your core. If you can find your balance point, your bones can do a lot of the work here. It doesn't have to be all muscles. Keep breathing. Ranga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Try this. Come to the front of your mat. I'm going to try side crow. Some days I can do it, some days I can't. So set up like you did for crow. Hands are in front of you. For me, I'm going to take side crow on the right first. So I bring the outside of my right thigh just above my knee against my left elbow. Originally when I was trying this pose, I was always trying to get my right leg up onto both elbows, but then when someone pointed out to me that you actually just need to bring it up onto your left elbow, onto that front arm, I was able to find the balance point. It's very tricky. It's hard for me to hold this pose for very long. I'm sure my form is less than beautiful. Anyway, locking that back of the left elbow against the outside of the right knee, hands in downward dog, tip forward, lift your feet off the ground, find a bend in your elbows, find strength through your hands and through your core. Breathe. Step back, plank, chaturanga, up dog, downward facing dog. Let's try to take it on the other side now. So that was on the right. So now I'm going to try to take it on the left. No. So it's going to be the right elbow against the outside of the left leg. Hands, downward dog hands. They're not going to be right in front of you. They're going to be slightly to the side, sort of at a 45-degree angle. Tip forward, lift your legs. Return to center, halfway lift, forward fold, upward salute. Forward fold. Step back, plank. Chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing dog. There's Cody. He's literally doing downward dog behind me. Bye, Cody. See ya. Right leg to the sky. Step it forward. About 3.5 feet. Come up into warrior two. Alright, straighten that right front leg. Bring your left foot in a little bit. 45-degree angle on that back left foot. Tip out over your front right leg. Reach along with the right hand and then grab for your Shan triangle pose. Long through your legs. Don't get lazy. Find length between your feet. I'm going to bring my left foot in just a little bit more. Let's take pyramid pose. So, same legs as triangle, but they're a little closer. Pushing off the block. Lift, and then fold forward over your front right leg, keeping that leg straight, keeping the quads strong. On the block, bring your right arm to the ceiling, revolve triangle. Don't let your right hip drift out. It's going to want to kind of kip out like that. Keep your hips in a nice top line in the center of your mat. Bring your block with you. We're going to try revolved half moon. Pushing off that left hand. Keep the left leg long behind you, as straight as possible. I realize mine probably is not super straight. That's just sort of my anatomy. Right arm to the sky. Rotating the torso. Keeping the hips driving down towards the ground. Same basic motion as, let me fall, as revolved triangle, but you're in the air. That. Bring your left foot behind your right. Do a cross-legged forward fold. Fold, halfway lift. Step back plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. Sky, three-legged dog. Strong through that back leg. Step forward, come up, warrior two. Open up. We're just passing through. Alright, straighten that left front leg. Bring the right foot in a little behind you. Reach out over that left front foot. Triangle pose on the left side. Right arm to the sky. Breathe. Stay strong through your legs. Stay active. Grounding down through the feet. We're not entirely, it's hard, it's just sort of a reflexive defensive hunch that I think we all have, probably from sitting at computers or who knows, just from trying to get through the day. We just bring our shoulders up to our ears, it's tension. Pyramid pose on the left side. Bring that right foot forward a little bit, angle the toes towards the front right corner of the mat. Push off your block. Or if you're flexible, your hands will be on the floor. Fold over that left straight leg, staying active through your quads and through your calves. Right heel grounded to the floor. Bring your block to the inside of your left foot. We're going to take revolved triangle. Pushing off that right hand, bring your left hand to the sky. Keep your hips facing forward and keep your legs nice and strong. You know, it's easy to kind of get into a revolved pose and let it all kind of flop like that. You're wanting to sort of hover around the center line between your legs and through your core. Left arm to the sky, as straight as you can get it. I realize my arm's probably not very straight. I can't see it, but I know what it looks like. into revolved half moon on the left side. We took it before on the other side. Grounding down through that left foot and through the right palm. Lift your left hand to the sky. Right leg strong behind you, kicking it towards the back wall. Breathe. Pose. Bring your right foot behind your left, cross-legged forward fold. Put your knees. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Step or hop, chaturanga, lower, inhale up dog, exhale downward facing dog. One more standing pose, just a little bit of a hip opener. Step or hop to the top of your mat, halfway lift, forward fold. Bring your hands down by your sides. We're going to take dancer, so bring your left foot to the center of your mat, right arm out like you're carrying a tray, 90 degrees. Kick your inner right foot into your right hand, bring your knees to touch. Inhale, bring that left arm to the sky. Exhale, tip forward, kick your foot into your hand. Right in front of you to look, a single point, that'll help with balance. An additional standing pose. So dancer, but stay up on your left leg. Bring your right foot to the inside of your left thigh into tree pose. Bring your hands to heart center. Resist your foot against your thigh, thigh against your foot. Active through that left leg, driving down. Bring your hands overhead, limbs of a tree. Find a point in the distance to look at. Breathe. Out of that, forward fold. Halfway lift. Step. Chaturanga. Inhale up dog. Exhale down facing dog. Lift. Forward fold. Hands by your sides, and then we'll take dancer tree on the left side. So grounding down through that right foot in the center of the mat, left arm out like you're carrying a tray. Catch the inside of your left foot. I have to do it very slowly because I can't kick into my hand very well because I'm so inflexible. Inhale your right arm to the sky, tip forward, kick that left leg back into the hand, dancer pose. One more breath here. Find your full expression. Stay up on that right leg. Then bring the left foot to the inside of the right leg. Tree pose. Hands to heart center. You can keep them here. You can bring them up overhead.
I realize my tree on this side is far from perfect. My left leg got nailed years ago by a big rock up in the mountains, and my alignment on that side has been kind of whack ever since then. I think it's kind of moved all the way up into my back and shoulder actually, but the good news is it was a climbing accident that I survived. Come out, bring that left leg to the floor, upward salute, forward fold, halfway lift, plant the hands, last vinyasa, lower, up dog, downward facing dog. Bring your left foot to the center of the mat, bring your right foot up, and then we're going to come into sleeping pigeon. So bring that right elbow to the right hand, set the right foot on the floor, stretch your left leg out long behind you, come onto the top of that left foot, and then you're slowly going to come down the mat onto your elbows, reaching them long in front of you and staying active through that back leg, stretching and opening the right hip. We'll stay here for a bit, just breathing. If you want, you can put a block under your head. If it helps. Sometimes it helps me, sometimes it doesn't. Don't just sag into it. Use the floor to open your right hip. Pose, just walking your hands back towards you. Come out, downward facing dog, left leg to the sky, and then sleeping pigeon on the left side. So left elbow to that left wrist, drop the right leg down behind you, scooch it back, and then slowly fold forward over that front left leg. Downward facing dog. Feet together, back in butterfly where we started. Hopefully you'll be a lot more open by now. I know I am. I started this practice in a lot of pain actually from climbing yesterday and then from working all day hunched over my computer, stressing out. Feeling a lot better now. I hope you do too. Hold butterfly. And then slowly lean back into Shavasana with butterfly legs. I did not lean very slowly.